Some newer effect pedals have MIDI capabilities where you can actually store presets and recall them, but those pedals don't have any display or any means of selecting those presets. So when using these with our products, the setup process is a little bit different, and so we're going to walk through the setup process on a couple of the more popular ones. The entire Chase Bliss series falls under this category, and also the Strymon and Riverside and Sunset pedals also will be covered by this. So we'll start with a Chase Bliss tonal recall delay pedal, and we've got it hooked up already, and the connections are, there is a 1/4 inch MIDI output that needs to go via a TRS cable into their MIDI box. They make it, and a few other companies make these MIDI boxes, and they adapt from the 1/4 inch cable to a standard MIDI cable. And so we've got a connection from here to the MIDI box. This can handle up to 4 different pedals if you want, and then the actual MIDI jack will then go, the MIDI in on this goes to the MIDI output of the Mastermind. And so with that in place, we can go into setup, and basically all we need to do is just tell it that the pedal is there, and we go to edit devices, and we're going to change the existing mini effect gizmo entry here into something that's more of what we're looking for. We set the type to Chase Bliss, and then we move down to tonal recall. And now if you notice, the MIDI channel is already set to MIDI channel 2, which is the default for the tonal recall. And so the nice thing is this is already preset, and this should already start working. So we exit here and get back to the normal preset setting. And if you notice, there is a little bit of feedback on channel selection on the tonal recall. And when we select 1, the LED turns off, 2, it turns red, and 3, it turns green. So we've got some indication that something's going on there. And so what we want to do now is to be able to program some of those presets. There is one little trick here that the first preset on this pedal is basically just the live knob settings, which you may not want. We'll deal with that a little bit later. So for now, we'll just limit ourselves to setting the later numbered presets. One thing we should do is one more parameter change in setup, and we move down to preset second press, and we're going to set that, it's set to same, but we want to change that to reload. And what that does is when we press a preset button, every time we press a preset button, it's going to send its MIDI messages to the pedal. If that isn't set that way, what's going to happen is it'll send messages when you change presets, but if you press the same one repeatedly, it will not send the same message each time. And for this programming process, we need it to send every time. So now that we've done that, we can simply just go to one of the presets and set the knobs accordingly, whatever we want here. And programming is just simply hold both buttons on the pedal and then press this to send its MIDI message. And literally that's all there is to it. You can just go into over to preset 3 and set a new delay time, and hold the buttons, send that. And now we've just programmed presets 2 and 3. And so for the basic cases, that's literally as simple as it is. And you can program up to 122 presets. Now you can get fancy if you need more presets than that, or if you want to reuse presets in different songs or something, you can go in and edit the program numbers that are being set. So we just set up presets 1, 2, and 3. We can go in, and let's say the program number we used in preset 2, we want to also use in preset 4. So what we can do is go to Edit Presets, and we can look here at preset 2, and you'll see that it sends to the tonal recall here. It's sending program change number 1. And this is kind of the number it sends to the pedal to tell it, which preset it should be selected. So if we want the same one that's being sent for preset number 2, we can take that number 1 and copy it over to this other preset. So what we're going to do is go over here to preset 4. And then tonal recall here, and you can see that it's set to number 3. If we go in and adjust it down to preset 1, now the same delay preset will be used for this one and that one, but this is only needed if you're really trying to reuse presets or doing something like that. The other process I showed you earlier is all you need for a basic setup. As I mentioned earlier, the first preset on the tonal recall and on all Chase Bliss pedals represents sort of the live knob settings, and in this kind of setup it's probably not what you want, and so basically to change that we can go in and edit that first preset on the PBC to select a different preset. So we're going to go to Edit Presets, and we're going to select preset 1. And we scroll down to where it says Tonal Recall, and then we select it. And see here it says PC number 0, and that is the number that's being sent to the pedal that selects that live knob setting. So what we can do to get rid of that is we can just adjust it and move it way up. There are 122 presets. You can go all the way up to 122, so we don't have to watch me press the button a lot. I'm just going to stop at 30. But basically now we've kind of rearranged the presets that are being recalled. And so now it's possible to go in and, actually save a preset to this, particular, save an effect preset to the PBC preset. And one other thing you may need to do is set the channel on the pedal. It defaults to channel 2, but you may need to move it to something else. And so what we want to do here is go into Setup again. First we change the channel on the PBC itself. We select Edit Devices and Tonal Recall, and we can go over here and set, say, MIDI channel to 6. And now what we need to do is make use of the Edit Presets menu for this. So we go here, select any preset, and move down to Tonal Recall. This is the one that we just edited, actually, to get rid of the live knob mode. So with that in place, we can hit that one more time, and now we're in this PC editing mode. And so now what we can do is get the pedal ready, and we power it down and hold both buttons as we power it up. And then we press bank up or bank down once. Okay, we release the buttons, then press bank up or bank down once. And basically that one message that comes from here, when we press that, will set the channel on the tonal recall to match. And now we can look at this, and the pedal is now responding on channel 6. The Strymon Riverside is another pedal that needs to work in this kind of mode, and so we'll show you how to set that one up. The first thing, the Strymon has sort of a multi-purpose port that can be used for an expression pedal or for MIDI or for some other things. And so what we need to do first is tell it that this port is going to be a MIDI port. So we pull the power from it, and we hold the favorite button on it and power it up. The LEDs will start flashing, and then take the level knob, and you'll see that as I do this, the on LED changes color, and we want to turn it all the way till it turns blue, and that's the setting for using MIDI, and then you just press the button and it goes back into its normal mode. And so now it should be set up for MIDI. The connections are basically the same as with the Chase Bliss pedals. You can use Chase Bliss's MIDI box as an interface. There is one little setting inside you have to change to make it work with the Strymon, and I've done that for this port. But basically, it's a TRS cable from the expression pedal port on the Riverside to the box, and then the MIDI in port on the box comes from the PBC's MIDI output. And then, as before, we go in here and go into Setup, Edit Devices, and then select that first slot. And now we're going to change it to it's way down there on the list. There it is, Strymon Riverside. Okay, and by default it goes for MIDI channel 1. And that's also the default on the pedal. So we can exit out of here, and we can see that there isn't much indication of what's going on here, but if you, for example, turn off favorite and switch presets, you can see that the light turns on. So it is indicating that it's receiving something. And from there, you can start programming presets. The process is similar, not quite the same for programming. You would basically dial in your settings that you want, and then, as you like, and then you hold the favorite button when you're ready, and hold it until it starts flashing blue, and then you press the preset that you want to save it to. So we'll save this to preset 1, and we could pick, completely different settings, and hold favorite, and then press 2. And so now we've set those 2 settings here, and you can do that for 100 presets, I believe, or no, 300 presets on the Riverside. So we've got a lot to work with there. If you've got a lot of pedals, you may need to change your MIDI channel on your Riverside or Sunset, and so that has its own process you need to go through. So the first thing you need to do is select that channel on the PBC, and you go to Edit Devices and select Riverside, and by default it's channel 1. We're going to change it to channel 2. Now on these pedals it's easiest to select channels 1, 2, or 3. You can get to the higher number channels. There's just an extra step you have to do, but for now we'll do channel 2, and so we can now hit Exit. And so we've changed it on this end, but the channel has to match on the pedal as well. So what we do here is we pull the power from the pedal, hold the on button as we power it up, wait for the lights to flash, and then the drive knob controls which channel it's on. And so the favorite LED changes. Green means channel 1, amber is channel 2, red is channel 3. We're going to set it to channel 2, so we'll set it to amber, and then we'll press the on button, and that just saves that. And so now you can see that it's still responding, even though we've now just changed both to channel 2. And so, but let's say we need to go to channel 5, which is beyond sort of the quickly accessible channels. So we'll go to Edit Devices. We'll go here, set it to channel 5. And so now instead of exiting all the way, we need to go to Edit Presets and select any preset. Doesn't matter. And we're going to go down to the entry for Riverside here and select it. And the reason we do this is that we need to ensure that only one MIDI message is being sent from here, because what the Riverside will do is, like, the first MIDI message it sees, it's going to take that channel that it came in on and then set its own channel to match. And selecting any random preset on the PBC in the normal operating mode can send a lot of messages, and so you're not really guaranteed to know which channel is going to get selected. So if you do this by going through Edit Presets like I'm doing, you're guaranteed to not have any problems. So yes, we went into Edit Presets, selected a preset, and then selected Riverside. And so now what we have to do is pull power again, hold on until the lights flash, and now we're going to take that drive knob and turn it further. After red, then it goes to this flashing blue mode, and then we just press one of these bank buttons, and that's going to send one MIDI message on channel 5, and then we exit, and we can see that we're it's still responding. And using that process, you can set it to any of the 16 MIDI channels. And as before, you can still set all of your presets the same way, simply by setting the knobs, holding the favorite button, and then selecting a preset. And that should take care of it. If you have any questions, please contact us at support@rjmmusic.com.